Welcome to the Vernon Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Vernon. We're joined by my guy, Princeton Malbrue. Thank you for coming in, man. I just want to know how you been doing, bro. How's things been? Been a while since we caught up.
Yeah, man. It's been good, man. Great summer, finishing off final stages, and then getting into fall camp. So, season right around the corner. Everything's been good. So, just been blessed, man.
34 days, bro, we in Vegas, kicking it off on the Sunday, switching it up a little bit. But talk about your brand and just how it's been growing, your social media reach, and just all the work that you've been putting in recently.
Yeah, so I'm blessed enough with the status to have the opportunity to grow my brand, especially with NIL that dropped, and it's given a lot of athletes great opportunities to, go out there and reach out to whoever company they want to reach out to, and really the sky's the limit with that. So, I mean, just taking advantage of it, especially this off season. I have doing extra work and prepping for the season. That's the main thing. But on the side of that, you have a little bit of more free time to go out and connect, networking a little bit. But it's been blessed, man. Been starting off like YouTube, and then just like taking off a little bit more on TikTok, and then just reaching out to more and having more opportunities. So.
How's that YouTube grind been, bro?
And it's new. I'm not gonna lie, new, like creating videos. I made my first video, I think like a month ago. So I'm getting into that. I'm gonna probably start doing some vlogs or whatever. Probably like following up for the season and stuff like that, but on the side. But it's been a new experience, always learning new things. That's the biggest thing.
I'm going to put a link to your channel in the description, so y'all make sure to go click that. I'll put the video link as well. Go tune into that. But let's talk a little bit about that balance. You kind of mentioned it earlier, like, the main thing is athletics, of course, and then you mix it in academics, and now you got the brand on the side. Like, how do you balance all of that and be able to execute in every single facet? Yeah,
so definitely I'd say, like, collegiate athlete, the main thing is time management. So it's like you're going to have your practices that'll take like a good portion of your day, workouts and all that things. But, for me, what I could say what's balance is a lot of my content that I would do is normally like right after the workout, or like after getting extra work in the gym, or in the weight room, or wherever on the field. So it's like I'll have that downtime to wherever I'm like, oh, well, I'm already here. I might as well just prop up a camera and do something cool for like 30 seconds, wouldn't hurt nobody. But a lot of it is just really time management, because a lot of athletes out there, they're just always like, there's so many other things that you could do within your time frame. There's a lot of distractions that athletes could do, but I try to use that time to, something that's fun, something that's positive, something that's interactive for, the fans that are watching, people back at home, a lot of people who look up to us as athletes. So there's a lot of good things that you could do to balance that. But especially, like, it's definitely not going to get any easier, especially once you're going into a season. There's a lot of things you got to work on, like the main thing, basically. I always say keep the main thing, but there's a lot of different things. But if you find that, like, focal point, that balance, that healthy type, like system that you could find, routine that you can find, then it's just no-brainer, no problem.
It gets to be nice and easy, nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
What would you say to an athlete that's looking to get into that spot that might not have that, that mindset? Like, what would you tell someone looking to get into growing their brand, looking to get into that space?
I'd say look into authenticity. Your brand is you. So it's like whatever you make it is your brand. So it's like, I wouldn't try to, so for me, when starting up my brand, I didn't really try to look for a focal point of a persona type of way. I tried to really like stand out, be creative, be myself whenever it came to stuff like that. Because a lot of companies, they really like, or you being original, you being yourself. What makes you different that stands out in a bunch of world full of athletes? And so that's one of the things that I really tried to focus on. And then I just had a little hunch and tried to look at always new ideas, because everything's a learning process. Everything's a process. You're not going to get it right then and there. Now, there are some guys or some athletes out there that just, hit it, get it, and then it just blow up, they go viral, and then branding, and then their play following their brand. all helps hand in hand. But it's just really up to you, man. You is what, like, yourself and your character as an athlete makes up your brand. So always, make good decisions and be smart with it, but always look to learn new things. Always look to learn new things. Always help. Connections is a big thing when it comes into the social media and branding's part of athletics. So just continue to learn new things and be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else.
Yeah, I like that message because, I got some advice like that myself. It's like no one can be you better than you. You could try all you want to be a Pat McAfee or be this or be that, but at the end of the day, like, you got to bring something to the table that's your X factor. Like, you got to be different. You got to be individualistic a little bit.
Exactly.
I resonate with that a lot.
Exactly.
Talking more about, the on the field things, what are your personal goals for this year? Have you set any goals or, I like to ask those type of questions, but some athletes, they don't want to have any like statistics to chase or nothing to distract them, but do you got anything that you're trying to cross off?
Yeah, making an all SEC team. That's one of my goals, as well as getting many other reps at my position. More and more, I moved from Jack linebacker to Mike linebacker this year, so it's a new adjustment that I've been working through the off season with Coach Baker as my new coach. So, but yeah, improving my game. Last year was freshman year, this year sophomore year. More reps at my position, just making a bigger impact in the game. So, always stepping stone, always progressing.
And talk about that, switch to a different position. What entails that, and kind of like how does that whole process go? Is it a lot different? Do you got to do a lot more new things? Is it just kind of more studying? How does that go?
So for me, from when I made that transition, it was a lot more of seeing the defense as a whole than playing like one side of it or one edge of the defense. Because like Mike is basically like the quarterback of the defense. So you got to always make sure, set the front, make sure your linemen are in the right place, make sure you have good communication with the other backer, with the free safety, with the corner, make sure that everybody gets the plays. So it's a lot more control over the defense than, how they say you're 111, your own assignment. So I think the biggest adjustment is understanding the whole scheme of the defense as a whole, and be able to read and react and make sure everybody else is where they need to be to play their best. So
that's a good description of the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year especially, you got the integration of the iPad, you got to deal with Apple and stuff. I feel like that's going to be a huge boost.
Yeah, I think so. From when I was playing in high school, we had the little iPads. Oh. So and that really like changed a lot of like the guys' gameplays on my team, like traumatic, like a big jump, so that they are able to see what they did wrong during that series, after that series ended, and be able to correct it the next series. Whenever, how last year we made a mistake on a play that a coach saw and told us about it, and we're not able to see what we did wrong as a technical standpoint, so that we're not able to see what it actually looks like or get the feel of seeing ourselves make that mistake on camera, on like a visual, instead of waiting until the Sunday or the Monday to look at the film as a team, as in a whole, and see, oh, so this is how it looks like, rather than you could see it right then and there, correct the mistake, get it fixed, and understand what you need to do.
And it seems like it makes the most sense. That paired with the headsets, it's like, come on, we're getting to a point where I feel like that's an improvement. I mean, you got a lot of changes, and everyone can gripe as much as they want, but I feel like you're going to make the game better overall. Everybody wants to see better product on the field.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see your team succeed, and so I feel like this one is definitely going to help overall the development of the game in a positive way.
Exactly.
Speaking of development, though, how have you felt you've developed this offseason, and how do you feel like the coaches like Coach Baker and such have been able to help kind of maybe not necessarily make a plan, but just like how have they been alongside you, motivating you, getting you into this right spot, into that Mike linebacker position, and now this year going to hit the ground running? Well,
I would say one thing that Coach Baker has done extremely well is he brings confidence back to his team, back to his players. They've developed like a trust system with him, Baker, Coach Olson, Coach Raymond, they all hand in hand have been able to, their thing is play fast, play physical, play free, and play fun. So enjoy the game. We've been playing this game for so long, so it's like, don't really think too much on the mistakes or, oh man, I got to get this play down or I got to make this play. Go out and do it. Confidence is everything when it comes to a lot of guys playing their position at a high level. And, it's a game of football. Have fun, enjoy it, and play the game. You know what I'm saying? It's a kid's game, but you're playing it at, just a different level, but it's still the same game. So one thing that I've really seen that has stood out to a lot of guys this year than last year is a lot of the guys are having more and more comfortability playing their positions and playing the game and adjusting to what's going on. You make a mistake, full speed, I always say. So it's like a lot of the coaches are giving that confidence back in the players. And from a development process, Coach Baker has done really well of having us go one by one, step by step, and not a big jump. That's just working every single day on something that we can improve on and, build that over time. Then you got, the main factor. But that's one thing that I could really say that stood out from Coach Baker and his staff.
And I feel like that speaks volumes just about his coaching style in general. One of my first impressions of him, everyone's been talking about it, but he walks in wearing the cleats and everyone stopped. Like, what the hell? You got a coach wearing cleats, getting in, getting dirty.
Yeah.
He's actually working alongside you. And I feel like that was a welcome, not a welcome to LSU moment for him, but just hey, he's here, he's ready to turn his lights on, just like he did at Mizzou, just like he did at LA Tech. And I think that really, the sky's the limit for the defense, of course, but I think there's going to be a shot, honestly, because a lot of people have that polarizing effect where, you see, it's recency bias, and of course, a lot of people are just going based off what they saw last year. But the talent that LSU's defense held last season, you can even look at the D linemen, 3 D linemen drafted, and a lot of people would have been uber critical on that entire side of the ball, saying it might not have, they might not have lived up to the bill, this, that, or the third. But at the end of the day, the talent is everywhere across the board. It's just like that on the offensive side of the ball, but it's also that on the defensive side of the ball. You pair that with guys like Corey Raymond, and you just get that right concoction, so to speak, that right recipe, I guess. You tweak it a little bit, and it's going to be night and day. Yeah. Now, my expectations, at least, I feel like it all revolves around kind of what you were saying as well. Just it's a slow, increased development, and it's not an entirely new squad. You've got a lot of returning pieces. And then with Blake Baker, he's not your run-of-the-mill, new defensive coordinator. He's been in Louisiana before, been at LSU within 3 to 4 years. He gets it. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of resonating not only just in the program with y'all, but from the outside looking in. It just seems to be everyone's on the same page, and it is trending in the right direction at least. I feel like that's getting us all, excited for this USC game, for this season.
For sure.
How do you feel about the season, though? Is there anything you got circled? Is there any moment that you are waiting for?
Really just starting to start the season off on a high note. I know this past couple of years we started the season on the weekend front of it, but starting the season fast. Winning game 1, making an impact, making a statement, especially now with this 12-team college playoff bracket that's come out. It's there for the taking. So it's our biggest thing is to play our brand of football. Don't try to reciprocate anybody else. Don't try to copy anybody else. Play LSU football. Getting back to that LSU defense has so much tradition and so much pride of LSU defense. So just getting back to that. Of course, everybody wants to play LSU. So it's there's no really one big game that we want to take out. Especially, me personal bias, I would select, but, stay with us, take it one game at a time, because that's always important, whether it's playing Alabama or whether we're playing Nichols. Every game's important to us. So it's we don't really want to get ahead of ourselves, but, USC, September 1st, we're going to hit the ground running. We're ready. We're excited. Ready for this fresh start. Ready for the season. So.
Does your preparation change a little bit when you're on the road or when you're on a neutral site comparatively to home, or you try to keep everything the same across the board?
I'd say pretty much we try to keep everything the same. For one difference that I could tell from the road that I would commend Coach Kelly and his staff of getting us prepared is getting adjusted to the crowd noises and like the fan chants and whatever it is. Whoever we're playing that week, like I know, like starting our practices in the indoor, the Coach Kelly has like the sound of like the other team's fight song playing loud, and like kind of gives us like a game day type moment experience. And like some of our practice periods in between the week leading up to the game on a road game, we'll have like crowd noises on the speakers and stuff, because we slowly get adjusted and playing at Tiger Stadium. I mean, like, that's our home, you know. Tiger Stadium is in and itself. So just him and his staff getting us really into like different sounds of different moments in a different game in a different place. So that's one thing that's really different from that.
And that's an experienced coach. That's something that you gotta go through it. You gotta know a thing or two to be able to see a thing or two like that. I feel like that's pretty interesting. And talking about the environments, real quick, this just popped in my head. Top 5 CFB environments. When I saw that list, and I ain't gonna do no slander at EA Sports, but I was scratching my head. So I just have to ask, if you had a top 5, Princeton Malbrue's top 5 toughest college football environments that at least you've experienced or what have you, what would it be?
Man, LSU, man, is at the top, man. It's loud in Death Valley. Sometimes you can't even hear yourself talk on the field. As from a player perspective, it gets really, really rowdy in Death Valley, man. That's number 1 for sure. From what I've experienced so far, I'd say number 2, A&M. A&M was a pretty cool environment to experience. The fans, it was pretty loud up there. I also enjoyed Ben Griffin Stadium whenever we went there. My redshirt freshman year when we played, they had like Tom Petty night, and they were doing the little crowd, and they turned the lights off, and they had the little flashlight show. It was cool. I'd say between the final 2, it's kind of hard. Ole Miss and Alabama were 2 pretty loud areas that I played. I remember Ole Miss was crazy. They did the little light show too, and which is crazy to talk about the light show. We had some upgrades with our lights, and I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna go in Tiger Stadium. That's a new difference. Thing that's added. Also the Jumbotron that's also added Tiger Stadium. But I'd say Ole Miss, and then playing in Tuscaloosa and at Alabama. So yeah, that's my top 5.
I like it. And then with the light show, it's about time, because that's going to be exciting. You know, you're going to open the game up with it, of course. I hope when they do Call in Baton Rouge in the 4th quarter, you got to dim the lights. You got to try to rattle some people with that. I feel like that is just kind of, it's low-hanging fruit. I mean, let's make this environment 10 times better. You made the Jumbotron 10 times bigger. I think the lights, that's going to add a whole new dynamic to the situation. Real quick, before we hop out, though, you played CFB 25 yet? What are your thoughts on that? How's it feel to be in the game, and what's that experience been like?
I'm not going to lie. The first time that I got the game and I saw myself on the game, I got like goosebumps, because I was like, man, I remember as a little kid playing this game up until when they discontinued it for 2014. I remember like that used to be my favorite game. Like I barely touched Madden like when I was very young. Like I only touched it to really like play like with family and other things, but like playing Road to Glory, I remember playing Mascot Mashup, and I remember like they don't have it in this game, but I remember just all those little different moments I used to play with like my brother and just a bunch of other family. Like I used to always play this game, and then just having the game come back is so huge, and just seeing yourself in a video game and you get to play as your own character, yourself in a game, it's just it's a surreal feeling. It's crazy, but it's special.
It's gotta be nuts, bro. I I don't even know how I would react if I saw myself in a video game. I'd probably be a little nervous to see what I look like. That's the first thing. I'd be like, man, I hope they don't do me bad. But then after that, yeah, I would be real hyped. I would be excited. The CFP though, it's been exciting. I feel like we got something on the way here. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna be doing a little matchup. But I appreciate Princeton. Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you chopping it up with us. I'm excited to see you this season, man. It's gonna be a big year. It's been the Verdant Verdict. Y'all hit subscribe. I'm gonna drop his socials in the description. Go check it out. Help him grow. He's on the way up, bro. Y'all have a good one.